most people think time changes people. I don't think that's the truth. I think first, people change by themselves. Time is just a revealing factor that reveals the true person that has blossomed into the new person they have become. What do I mean by this specifically? That I call as the time lag effect. So, what is the time lag effect? This is something that I am personally going through. So, it is one of the main reasons why I am putting this out as a video there to every single one that is facing the effect that I call as time lag effect. So basically, the core ideology of the time lag effect is that you are trying to become a person, and in your mind, in your brain, right, you have already visualized it. So you know the end goal, you know where to begin, and the middle path, which is often messy, is the path that you have no clue about, and you're confused on how to reach the end destination. So if you're on that path, right, welcome to the journey. Major issue that follows with this is that oftentimes when you decide who you want to become and when you visualize yourself as a future version, you start to change by yourself, and that change is usually progressive or immediate. It depends from person to person, but every time you undergo certain changes, right, every time you re-visualize stuff, you imagine yourself reaching that specific stage. If you notice your micro changes in your behavior, in your style, the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you address people, you would notice a lot of changes, and these are changes that are often not visible to you because you're the one who's changing. But important part right here, and something that's noticed by other people, is that they notice you are changing, and for some reason, and probably because they are scared or they don't want you to change, they might have their own reasons. But when you start going through the stage and they notice you are changing, there are often going to be times when, purposefully or maybe not intentionally, either ways, they are going to try to drag you down. The worst part is even your own family, friends, and sometimes your close relations, such as your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or anyone that is kind of close to you, might potentially drag you down. What I'm trying to convey here is these relationships are important, but you need to be aware of their overall knowledge scope and their worldview in order to reach a final decision. For me, when it came to my personal experience, I started progressing through these changes that were quite noticeable even for me. I had a lot of people who I knew started panicking and they were like, "You're changing too much." But the truth is, I have decided what I want to become. The people who are unintentionally and maybe even due to love, and I don't mean by love just as two people, mother, father, every kind of love. They might be doing it out of love because they may be scared about the person you're trying to become. And in my case, I had been rapidly changing, and everyone around me knew that. A few people stepped in and tried to stop, but again, it's up to specifically the person who's changing. And for me, right, personally speaking, once I have decided on what I wanted to become, there was no going back. I started walking through this messy forest of the middle part we discussed earlier. I'm still trying to figure a lot of stuff out. It's confusing, yes. But the main part about the time lag effect is it doesn't just affect you as a singularity, but it starts affecting people around you as well. And there are two sides to every coin. There's positives and there's negatives. And in this case, it's the same as well. The positive is that people who are not adapting to your specific mindset often leave and move away from you, which is also a good thing and bad thing, because if you're surrounded by the wrong people, you automatically tend to cut them off. But if you're surrounded by friends and family who are close to you, there are times when they can be cut off as well, and that's gonna hurt on both the sides. It's gonna take a lot to process stuff, but eventually, if that relationship is important to you, I am sure that anyone who's progressing through this journey will maintain it, just like I have. Important and problematic part of the time lag effect is gonna be yourself. Yes, there are a lot of problems, issues that will be created around your own surroundings, specifically focusing on your ongoing changes in your personality. The major effect around this is probably going to revolve around you, because once consciously of these changes, it's going to get tougher, because every single time someone steps in to step out of the way that you're currently progressing, it's going to get harder and harder. And the worst part of is that it's going to be people who you love and who you are often surrounded by. But another thing is that once you start this journey where you want to become a specific person, the problem is you're often in your own head. You have progressed so much, you have thought so much about it that you immediately start acting as that specific person, at least in some ways. Your brain just instantly snaps and you're that person. And that is a good thing. But the another part where I had issues and that I'm working on is you have to progressively make sure that not just your mind, but every single component of your thought, your way of style, your way of dressing, your way of looking at the world, interacting with it, everything needs to change. Oftentimes, the end version that every specific person has imagined in their mind would be a perfect version. And in order to reach that perfect version, you need to focus on a lot of other aspects as well. No, that's often not going to be the case. You're going to have to eventually work on your body, you're going to have to work on your mind, you're going to work on your way of tongue, you will have to work on conversations, delivery, public speaking, networking skills. There's a lot of stuff to work on. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. Once you start to become that personality and that is all that goes in your mind, you want to live that life. You don't want your life anymore. Your life feels like you're just being dragged down and down. But it's going to take time in order to reach that specific life where you have imagined everything perfectly aligned. And for that, it's going to take a lot out of you. You have to do the work, you have to build your body, you need to build your speech, conversations, way of dressing, way of style, you know, every single thing. And I have been working on it. There is still a lot of progression for me to eventually reach that final stage. But it's tough. It's gonna get tougher, even though there are people who are gonna drag me. If you're on this journey, who are gonna drag you down as well. Just remember why you started. For me personally, my end goal is have enough wealth that I am free. And freedom is something that I value more than anything. Aside from all this, I actually started this journey was because I don't want my future generations to have to go through these kind of struggles. And even though that may sound a little stupid, because without such struggles, they are not going to be able to become a better version of themselves like I have been trying. That is something I will have to go through. And that is something I'll have to design systems to make sure they progressively turn into someone who's better and not a worst human being who just lavishly uses the wealth that I would have hard earned in the future. So there are plus and minuses to what I want, but the end goal for me is to have a legacy, is to be part of the history books. So I am progressing towards that. It's a long path from here, but I'm not yet the version that I want to be. There's a lot of things that I need to fix and I need to do in order to reach that specific version. I have been progressing towards it, starting with physicality, the way of speech, public speaking. Initially, I had trouble with videos, but right now I believe I'm progressing a little bit. And in the future, I hope to progress a lot further. Yes, money is a part of it, and I'm not denying that. But other than the money, the way of life or the way you want to live the life, right? That's gonna like require a lot of changes, and I am currently in the process. There are a lot of people, loved ones, and a few people that I might know trying to drag me down. But I understand it's for the reason of love. But I think that's what affects us more than anything. And that is something we'll have to work through as we go on, because not just now, in the near future as well, there are going to be a lot of incidents. Something similar like this might happen. Myself and anyone who's watching this to toughen up. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. I'm well aware of that. I'm not whining. And I know in order to reach that version, I'll have to work a lot, not just on these aspects, but also on psychological aspects. It takes time. I am sure that you guys know I do trading and stuff, and it relies a lot on psychology. Personal psychology is also something that every single person should work on. There are a lot of people who can easily catch your nerve, and that is something you need to be aware of, because at least I was the type of person who was easily irritable. That's something I have been working on, and progressively I have been able to identify what the person standing opposite to me are trying to invoke in terms of my emotional response. And it's been a great progression there. So I'm working on a lot of things. Core ideology or the entire idea behind this specific video is that I wanted to convey the specific effects of time lag effect that I specifically, I guess, named it. If you're experiencing something as well similar to this, I just want you to know you're not alone there. There are people like us who are experiencing it as well, and it takes a lot to go through this. I think this is the stage where people often get demotivated and quit, because the time lag between your current self and your future variant is so much, and the progression towards the end feels too large. But if you can probably persist through this specific phase, I think there's a lot more at the end, and the rewards are probably waiting as well. So I think that's one thing I would like to end this video with. So if you're someone who has been having trouble dealing with this kind of time lag effect, do let me know in the comments. You're not alone. It's something everyone goes through. Make sure that you have control over your mind, because once you lose control of the only thing valuable, but what I'm trying to convey is that if you cannot control your own emotions, if you cannot control your own brain, that is something you'll have to learn before someone else utilizes it and overpowers you. So make sure that you utilize this time lag effect to learn more about yourself, as well as progress towards your goal while building upon yourself as much as you can. Because once you reach the end goal and once you make the money, it's going to be hard for you to actually fix yourself on these mistakes. The main reason I believe there is something known as time lag effect is because it is a period where you are given an opportunity to fix yourself. And I think it's best to utilize this opportunity and make the most out of it before it becomes a costlier mistake. If you're someone who's been experiencing this specific time lag effect, let me know. You have the comment section. And if you're someone interested in DMing me personally, go ahead. I'll leave my Instagram and Twitter right in the description, or you can find it in the channel page as well. Thank you for watching this specific video. If you're someone who's on a journey towards building something, to follow me, subscribe, because I'm on that specific journey as well. And I think there's a lot of stuff gonna be relatable between us. And I am very excited to connect with you guys. So see you guys on the next video.